Welcome to another exciting episode of MEDIGO Round. And in today's episode, we're going to discuss interesting facts, as always, proven by research. Some of them in today's episode would be how to feel 10 years younger, and I'm going to share the secret how to do that. 3% babies, which is going to come soon. And a couple of other topics would be juvenile diabetes, how friends can influence you in smoking and quitting smoking. And as well as something very important, lying takes more brain power than telling the truth. So let's go into the details and find out more interesting facts. Our first interesting fact for the day: how to feel 10 years younger. It's very simple. Start owning a dog or even have a pet. A new study found that owning a pet can not only make you feel and be active, it can actually make you feel and act younger. Researchers at the University of St. Andrews found that dog owners above the age of 65 acted 10 years younger than their biological age. Study found that owning a dog can have a beneficial effect on an elderly person's mental health. So it's very simple. If you want to really feel 10 years younger, start owning a dog. Men less moral than women. It's true. Common stereotypes about men include that they're insensitive, immature, cheaters, and at times commitment phobic as well. Now, there is evidence to prove that they're more likely to trade ethics to prove their masculinity. According to recent studies conducted by American researchers, men have lower moral standards compared to the fairer sex. Their research showed that men are very likely to minimize the repercussions of moral misconduct, resort to tactics that are ethically questionable, and tell bigger lies more often. Also, they have no qualms to comprise moral ethics in a bid to assert dominance to prove and defend their masculinity. Scientists said that if the UK legalizes it, babies could be created from 3 people in just about 2 years. You heard it right. And that's where development and research is going into. The next generation of IVF would involve egg from 2 women and the sperm of 1 man to prevent mitochondrial diseases. The same was reported by scientists to the Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority. So, let's say if in 2 years, if the UK legalizes it, we're going to have kids with 2 mothers and 1 father. It's definitely going to be interesting. Couples share similar genetics. I'm sure most of you remember in one of our previous episodes we discussed that friends also share similar genetics, and that's the reason why we are closer to our friends than strangers. Well, did you pick your mate because birds of a feather flock together, or because opposites attract? Researchers found increasing evidence that the former is often true, even when it comes to genetics. Spouses share more genetic similarity than individuals randomly paired. It is well established that individuals are more similar to their spouses than other individuals on important traits, such as education level. The authors wrote, "The genetic similarity, or lack thereof, between spouses is less well understood." The result was published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. So with this, I'm sure most of you are aware that we genetically share a lot of similarities with our spouses. With this, we move on to our next interesting fact, and that is to all those mothers out there. Mother's diet at conception may alter your baby's DNA. Researchers say that a woman's diet during conception may cause lasting changes in the DNA of your children, potentially influencing their development. In a new study, researchers analyzed the diets of women in rural parts of the Gambia in Western Africa, who experienced major changes in their diets over the course of each year as the area goes through rainy seasons and dry seasons. So following a healthy diet during conception is very important for every mother to be. And the reason why it is important is that it leaves a lasting change in the DNA of your children, potentially influencing their development. The next interesting topic is about juvenile diabetes. Yes, as most of you are aware, the current lifestyle has definitely brought in a lot of these diseases, and I would not call it a disease as such. Let's go into the details and find out. Till about a decade ago, diabetes was commonly found in aged people or elderly people in their mid-30s. However, with changing lifestyle, it has become one of the most common lifestyle diseases affecting children between the age of 12 and 18. Known as juvenile diabetes as it occurs in children right from the age of 10, it is a growing concern among urban parents today. Research has shown that nearly 1 in 4 urban teenagers aged 12 to 18 years is on the verge of developing diabetes. So juvenile diabetes is definitely a concern. Imagine a 10-year-old child having diabetes at such a young age. So it's very, very important that we do go along with the way the world is going in the current lifestyle, but we need to have a control and a controlled diet to handle such diseases. A good night's sleep is very, very important. And sleep just doesn't clear your head. Scientists now say that a good night's sleep literally flushes out waste and toxins that build up in your brain during the day. And your brain definitely needs this beauty sleep more than you think. So a good night's sleep is very, very important as it really clears your brain from all the toxic that is building up throughout the day. And this is very important to have a fresh start the next day. Neuroscientists peeked into the brains of conscious and unconscious mice using a technique called two-photon microscopy. When the mice drifted off, their brain cells actually shrank, expanding the spaces between them by 60%. That's when cerebral spinal fluid flowed in and cleaned the pipes, as The Guardian explains. Now that we've seen how important a good night's sleep is to refresh your brain, let's look at how much of pressure is exerted on our brains while we lie down when we tell a truth. Whether concocting a lie on the spot or sticking to a false alibi, the business of deception is definitely hard work. Brain imaging study shows that lying takes greater mental effort than telling the truth. So children's ability to fib increases hand in hand with their overall cognitive development. So now that you know that when you tell a lie or you're trying to stick to a false alibi, you're exerting a lot of effort on your brain. So the best way to do is, or live is, or be healthier is, stick to the truth and put less pressure on your brains. I'm sure there are a lot of us who are living in a different country than their home country. And what's the best feeling when you're in a different country? It's to see and feel somebody or know something that is very familiar or similar to your home country. It's such a comfort. But new researchers have found that when you live in such an environment or in close contact with things that are back from your home country, you have a tendency to forget and lose touch with the language from that particular country that you're in. Researchers conducted a series of experiments with Chinese immigrants now attending a university in the United States. Chinese participants had simulated conversations in English with both Chinese and Caucasian classmates. While looking at pictures of their peers' faces, the participants responded to questions. Their responses were analyzed for speed and overall fluency. The researchers found that the sight of a Chinese face caused participants to trip up on their English language more than seeing a Caucasian face. Though researchers say that reminders from home make you forget your second language, I would still go with the best feeling when you're in a different country. That is to see familiar faces and be associated with things that are from your home country. Friends encourage you to start, not quit smoking. How many of you agree with us? Let's look at it. Now, it's true that friends influence the behavior of your kid in a lot of ways. Researchers have found that peers tend to influence your kid to both start and quit smoking, but the encouragement to start is more often on the higher scale. What we found is that social influence matters. It leads non-smoking friends into smoking, and non-smoking friends can turn smoking friends into non-smokers, said Stephen Haas, an associate professor of sociology and demography at Pennsylvania State University in the United States. The study appeared in the Journal of Health and Social Behavior. Now that you know what researchers have proven, it's very, very important that you're in the right circle of friends. And this goes out to all the teenagers out there and all those parents who are concerned about their kids. Always make sure that your kids are in the right company. With this, we come to the end of an exciting episode. I'm sure we went through a lot of stuff. We looked into juvenile diabetes, 3 children parents, a lot of other things. I'm sure it was a beautiful episode and I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. Until we meet next week, this is Pachino signing off. Thank you.